Hello, dears, how are you? We had heard a lot about the IQ, about the intelligence, about the intelligence quotient, and it was considered that this thing is vital for the successful life, for the happy life. Being intelligent, that is very, very important, or that is very, very essential. I do not, underestimate the importance of the IQ or the importance of the intelligence. That is very, very, very useful thing indeed. There is no doubt in it at all. But we have seen that there are plenty of people in the world today, around ourselves as well, who were intelligent enough, but they failed in the life. They failed in their business. They failed in their professional life. They failed in their personal life. They failed in their family. They failed in their intimate relationships as well. So that actually mean that although EQ is very important, although intelligence is very important, but there is another thing as well, that there are certain other things as well which are also essential, and in their absence the intelligence will not be of any use at all. Rather, it could be used negatively as well. There are plenty of examples in this regard as well. The people who were intelligent enough, they used their intelligence in the wrong manner, and at the end of all that, they destroyed not only their own life, rather the life of their loved ones as well. They ruined the life of other people as well. So it means that there are certain other things which are essential, but this person who is intelligent guy, this person was lacking. So my dear friends and fellows, one such thing is emotional intelligence, and the research has proven now that anybody with the emotional intelligence, whether they are otherwise intelligent or not, whether they otherwise are wealthy, resourceful or not, they can lead a happy life, they can lead a healthy life. It is the emotional intelligence which is either equally important or even more important as compared to the IQ, as compared to the intelligence. So, for all that reason, we have made it a topic of our discussion today. What is the emotional intelligence, and what are the benefits of emotional intelligence? How can we develop it, and what are the key takeaways? There are four important segments of our today's talk. So let's begin with the first segment. The first segment says, what is emotional intelligence? So there are 5 points to understand. After all, what is the emotional intelligence? So the first thing is, what is emotional intelligence? And the first thing to understand, it is the self awareness and recognizing and understanding your emotions, recognizing on the one hand, understanding your emotions on the other hand. So that is called the self awareness, and the self awareness is, we can call it as emotional intelligence. Now the second thing, that is self regulation. Self regulation, and it means managing and regulating your emotions. Management and the regulation of your emotions, so that is called self regulation. So that is the second thing. Once we are talking about what is emotional intelligence, the third thing to understand, what is emotional intelligence, it is motivation, using emotions to derive motivation, using emotions to derive motivation and achievements. That is motivation. You remain motivated, and you are using the motivation, you are driving the motivation for the purpose of the achievement. So that is called also emotional intelligence. The fourth thing, what is emotional intelligence? It is empathy, understanding and recognizing emotions in others. Understanding and recognizing emotions in others. So that is empathy and that is emotional intelligence. Now, the fifth point to understand what is emotional intelligence? It is the social skills and social skills. What is the social skills? Applying emotional intelligence to interact and communicate effectively. Applying emotional intelligence to interact and communicate effectively for the purpose of social skills. So the five of these points are actually the emotional intelligence, self-awareness on the one hand, recognizing and understanding your emotions, self-regulation on the other hand, managing and regulating your emotions. Thirdly, it is the motivation, using emotions to drive motivation and achievements. The fourth is empathy, understanding and recognizing emotions in others. The fifth is the social skills, applying emotional intelligence to interact and communicate effectively. So the five of these points are called the emotional intelligence. Now we are going to talk about what are the benefits of emotional intelligence. So there are five major benefits. There are five major benefits of emotional intelligence. The number one is effective communication. And what is effective communication? It is understanding and expressing your emotions clearly. Understanding and expressing your emotions clearly, that is called effective communication. So it is the first benefit of emotional intelligence. The second benefit of the emotional intelligence is conflict resolution and managing conflicts in a constructive and respectful manner. Managing conflicts in a constructive and respectful manner, that is the conflict resolution. Conflict resolution is also the major benefit of affect the major benefit of emotional intelligence, managing conflicts in a constructive and respectful manner. Now the third point, that is for the purpose of emotional intelligence, as a benefit of emotional intelligence, that is the empathy and understanding. Empathy and understanding, recognizing and validating each other's emotions. Recognizing and validating each other's emotions, that is the empathy and understanding, and it is the third major benefit of emotional intelligence. The fourth major benefit of the emotional intelligence is the trust and intimacy, and building and maintaining trust and intimacy through emotional intelligence. Building and maintaining trust and intimacy through emotional intelligence. Now the fifth and the last major benefit of emotional intelligence is the healthy boundaries. Establishing and respecting each other's emotional boundaries. Establishing and respecting each other's emotional boundaries. So that is the five major benefits of emotional intelligence. The first major benefit of emotional intelligence is effective communication, understanding and expressing your emotions clearly. Understanding and expressing your emotions clearly. The second is the second major benefit is conflict resolution, managing conflicts in a constructive and respectful manner. The third major benefit of the emotional intelligence is empathy and understanding, and it means recognizing and validating each other's emotions. The fourth major benefit of the emotional intelligence is the trust and intimacy, by building and maintaining trust and intimacy through emotional intelligence. The fifth and the last major benefit of emotional intelligence is healthy boundaries, by establishing and respecting each other's emotional boundaries. By establishing and respecting each other's emotional boundaries. So we talked about the five ways to understand what is the emotional intelligence after all, if at all it is that much beneficial or it is essential. So what actually is the emotional intelligence? Five ways to understand it. Then we talked about the five major benefits of emotional intelligence. Now at the third stage of our today's talk, we are going to talk about how to develop the emotional intelligence. Can I and you develop the emotional intelligence? Already we have some of it, and it either it is low or it is average, or it is above average, whatever it is. But now we are going to talk about how can I and you develop the emotional intelligence. There are five important ways to do that. The first way to develop it, that is called self reflection. What is the self reflection? It is regularly reflect on your emotions and behaviors. Regularly reflect on your emotions and your behaviors. Regularly reflect on your emotions and behaviors. That is called self reflection. Now the second is the active listening. Active listening. What is the active listening? It is listen attentively to others. Listen attentively to others and try to understand their perspective. Listen attentively to others and try to understand their perspective. That is called active listening. This is the second way to develop the emotional intelligence. Now the third way to develop the emotional intelligence is that ask open-ended questions. Asking the open-ended questions. What are these open-ended questions? There are some closed-ended questions which can be answered through yes or no. But open, for the open-ended question, the people have to express their opinion, and it cannot be answered with a simple yes or no. So here the third way to develop the emotional intelligence is that ask open-ended questions. The fourth way, encourage open and honest communication. By asking open-ended questions, by encouraging open and honest communication. Now the fourth way to develop the emotional intelligence, that is practice empathy. How can I and you practice the empathy? It is try to see things from other people's point of view. Try to see things from others people point of view. That is called practicing empathy. Now the fifth and the last way to understand the emotional intelligence, that is seek feedback. Seeking a feedback. Ask for a construct. By seeking feedback, how can we do that? Ask for a constructive feedback to improve your emotional intelligence. Asking for a constructive to feedback to improve your emotional intelligence. So we talked about what actually the emotional intelligence is. We presented the 5 points for that. Then we spoke about what are the major benefits of emotional intelligence. We presented the five major benefits. Now we talked about how can we develop it, and there are five important ways to develop it. Let me revise this important ways to develop it in a very very concise manner. The first one is self reflection. Regularly reflect on your emotions and behavior. The second is the active listening. That is by listen attentively to others and try to understand their perspective. The third is ask open ended questions. Encourage open and honest communication. The fourth is the practice of empathy. Try to see things from other people's point of view. The fifth and the last way to develop it, that is seek feedback. Ask for a constructive feedback to improve your emotional intelligence. Now there are certain key takeaways. There are certain things to remember. Memorize it. Ingrain it upon our mind. These are extremely important. That is why we are calling it the key takeaways, and these two are five in number. The first key takeaway is emotional intelligence is the key, and developing emotional intelligence is crucial. Developing emotional intelligence is crucial for building and maintaining healthy happy relationships. Emotional intelligence is the key. Developing emotional intelligence is crucial for building and maintaining healthy, happy relationships. Number two, the second key takeaway is that self awareness is essential. By understanding your own emotions and behaviors is vital for effective communication and conflict resolution. The third key takeaway is practice empathy and active listening. By make an effort to understand and validate each other's emotions. Now the fourth key takeaway is develop healthy communication habits by establish open and honest communication to build trust and intimacy. Now the fifth and the last key takeaway is that seek feedback and learn from your mistakes. Continuously work on improving your emotional intelligence to strengthen your relationships. As for the last segment of our today's talk, that was about the key takeaways, and these are only five in number. Let me revise very quickly all these five. The first one is emotional intelligence is the key, and to and how can we do it? Developing emotional intelligence is crucial for building and maintaining healthy and happy relationships. That is, number one thing, the first key takeaway. The second key takeaway is self awareness is essential, and understand your own emotions and your behaviors is vital for effective communication. The third is practice empathy and active listening. The third key takeaway is the practice active listening by make an effort to understand and validate each other's emotions. Now the fourth key takeaway is develop healthy communication habits by establishing open and honest communication to build a trust and to build the intimacy. Now the fifth and the last key takeaway is that is seek feedback, seeking of feedback and learning from the mistakes. Seeking of the feedback and learning from the mistakes. Continuously work on improving your emotional intelligence. Continuously work on improving your emotional intelligence to strengthen your relationships. Today we talked about the emotional intelligence. Indeed, it is the finest ever thing for all the people who want to live a happy life, who want to live a healthy life, and who want to have the very good relationship and very good relationships with other people. That is all from me today. Thank you very much.